All right, so it's been a couple of weeks. This is not an actual practice session, so I had some more things happen that have slowed me down a little. I did play a few racks on the table just to kind of try to wear it in a little bit, get rid of some of the slide, get rid of some of the longness that it has, and maybe have it slow down just a little bit. I definitely was struggling with speed. But now what we're going to do is the table's had a chance to settle. It's had a chance for me to hit a few balls on it. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to start out. Check to make sure it's not going to roll off. Looks pretty good to me. We do all four corners, corner to corner. Just a nice soft roll so it'll roll off if it's going to. Alright, and then we're going to do side to side again like we did before. That was spin. Let's try it again. Little tiny bit of roll to this side, not enough to matter. If you remember, we had a roll towards this end before. At some point I'll level that, but it's so negligible, it's like half an inch. That looked good to me. All right, let's check our corners. This is the 3-rail shot. Now if you remember, when we did it last time, it was hitting about the first diamond. We want it to hit in the pocket. That's what it should do. Looks pretty good. Not as long as it was before, so that's what happens when you break it in. I think that was me. Do have to actually spin the ball. Got a little bit afraid to hit it. Didn't chalk. It's pretty short. try this one more time. Better. That's about right. It's a little bit short. All right, so the table's settled in. I've got a little bit of shortness up there. I've got a little tiny bit of roll, but that's going to happen over time as the table gets played. It's not enough to worry about. It went all the way across, all the way back straight, went straight, and then rolled off about a half an inch right at the very tail end. And with as fast as this cloth is, that's really not a major roll. That could just be the nap of the cloth. All right, so let's check the speed. Remember, we hit it from here. We hit it with a firm stroke, center of the ball, straight up and down. Should go 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to where it is now, or further. Looks to me like it's sped up some. Let's try it again. An extra diamond, an extra 3 diamonds, the first one. Let's do it again, just to kind of see. So it's pretty fast. All right, so I'm gonna kind of sort of do the warm-up routine. Well, I'm actually going to do the full practice routine, and I'm going to explain what each of the pieces is for. I do not expect to do very well. I'm having a really hard time with speed on this table. I tend to overhit or underhit. It seems like every time I'm worried about underhitting, I overhit it, and every time I worry about overhitting, I underhit. So it's going to take me a little bit to calibrate my speed. But let's go ahead and take a shot at it and see what happens. I'm going to start with my warm-up routine, then the up and down the table drill I talked about, and then I'll show you the shot that I'm going to practice. I'm not holding myself to the 10 in a row today, simply because this is the first time back on the table in 9 months. I don't want to sit there and get caught up in the drudge, get bored, and then not want to come back tomorrow and do it again. So this is kind of a quasi practice. It's more just to loosen me up and to give you a chance to see what the practice actually looks like. With that, let's move on.
All right, so it is time to warm up. You know my warm-up routine. I start with 4 balls, run them, 5 balls, 6 balls. So the purpose of this is not to necessarily run the balls. The purpose of this is to get comfortable with seeing the patterns, with my stroke feeling right. I typically don't stop until I've made at least 7 balls, but because it's been 9 months, I'm just going to do this until I get 5 or 6 balls, but my stroke feels good and I'm seeing the pattern. That's the important part here. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Draw go.
Yep, didn't draw very well. But didn't really want to be on that short side. You can see the speed trouble that I'm having. So now we'll throw some more balls out. And I'm going to speed through a lot of this in just a second. The main thing here is I want to show you, for example, that 4 ball was going to make the 3 a problem ball. So I move the 4 ball. I don't want problem balls here. This is about confidence. Okay, I want to be confident that I'm shooting well before I move in. So, okay, so this one, you're going to roll off the rail. That's the right way to play this. Roll forward off the rail. Get your angle. I get a pretty much perfect angle for the 2 ball. We're going to go ahead and speed through now. I did turn on some music, so no sound, just this. Okay. Had to put a ton of draw. Didn't do a very good job. Okay, missed the shot, but I should have made that. It happens to be my practice shot, so I went ahead and reset it. I'm still missing everything. This is normal. The first, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, I will miss like everything. So, moving on through, just going to speed through this and we'll move on into the next section. So you can see here, I'm definitely having trouble with speed. You can see I'm definitely having trouble with speed there. I got way too close on that 4 ball. So to be clear, this is not unusual when I warm up. I will often go half an hour, 45 minutes before I start making balls the way that I'm supposed to. So my stroke is starting to feel good now. Um, my patterns are decent. I'm still missing balls, but it's starting to feel good. So I'm going to go ahead and move on with my practice here in just a minute. Oh, missed that 9. All right, check my draw stroke. Okay, speed's good on draw. Okay. One thing I've noticed is I'm having a lot of trouble judging these rails. All right, so, but my stroke feels good. I'm seeing the patterns. I didn't expect to come in making every ball, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. So now I'm going to do the mother of all drills. This is straight up and down the table. Notice I put a piece of chalk on the rail with the point of the chalk facing the cue ball. That's so I have a good aiming point. Trying to aim at the diamond doesn't work because of the glare. So now up and down, we're looking to do this 10 times accurately. I'm going to step away and step back in between each one so that I'm not cheating. Does not count, missed the cue. I cannot stress how important that is. That actually counts. It hit the tip. It hit the very, very edge of the tip, but it hit the tip, so it counts. Um, this is incredibly important. If you can't hit the cue ball straight, then any practice you do after this is worthless. Okay? You have to be able to hit the cue straight up and down the table. Uh, if you can't do that, just keep doing it until you can. Um, the last thing we want to do in our practice is build a bad stroke into the muscle memory. So this every time. I don't care whether it's a 1 hour practice, a 5 hour practice, a 10 hour practice. I'm going to do this every time. I'm going to get it 10 times straight in a row. This is the most important drill. If you're a drill person, this is it. This is the drill you must be perfect on. Straight up and down the table. That counts. Hit the edge of the tip. Now, if it hits the ferrule, not the tip, it doesn't count. But if it grazes the tip, it's good. Okay, so I've got my 10 hits with this one. That's 10. So now we're going to do natural point of aim. I'm going to get down on the ball. I'm going to aim it. You can't see it, but I'm closing my eyes. So now my eyes are closed, and I'm just going to sit there, and then I'm going to open them. And when I open them, I'm going to look to see if I'm still aimed straight at the chalk, and I was. So that was about a 5-second pause. Now I'm actually shooting these next ones 5 in a row with my eyes closed. I aim. All right, that was a miss. I take my aim. You'll see me stop at the cue ball, and then I close my eyes, and then I stroke it. Didn't feel right. I felt off balance, so I reset. I stop. I close my eyes. I stroke it. My eyes are still closed. Now I'm opening them. Okay. I'm just going to do that. Now, normally I'll do 10 of these, but this was the first practice, so I was giving myself a break. I only did 5. Okay. Close my eyes. Pull back. Stroke. Good shot. And again. Here we go. Close my eyes, pull back, stroke. That hit the tip. It's good. And now it's time to set up my shot. So I get out my notebook. I get my shot of the day. I'll show it to you in just a second here. Um, so during practice, I missed this shot 3 times in that first video. And I'll show it to you here in a second. Um, but I'm going to take my book. I'm going to look at where I've got everything laid out and make sure I got all the balls I need. I'm going to get as close as I can to the original shot. It may be a little bit off, but as long as the idea is there, I'm happy. I'm going to put all of the balls on the table, not just the one I'm shooting. I want them all there. By the way, I'm using ring reinforcement. So here's the original shot from the practice. I missed it. I used bottom right on it and ran into the 5 ball. So I don't want to run into the 5. I want to go between the 5 and the 7 across the table for the 5 in the right side pocket. So I'm showing you the shot. You can't really see it there. I'll show it to you again in just a second. That's the shot I'm doing. It's the first shot in the book. So now the first thing I need to do is I need to understand the English. Okay, so bottom left is what I used in the shot, and it ran into the 5 ball. So in the book, I put bottom. I put a tip of bottom. So I'm going to try that and see what it does. And it should scratch. And it does. So tip of bottom scratches. Bottom left hits the 5. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the bottom and I'm going to try just top. I'm going to sit there and try different English with this shot until I get the outcome that I want. It's too hard to hold this, so I'm going to want to go across the table. I know that. Okay, so hitting its center ball rolls past the 7. I'd have a long straight shot on the 5. That would be a decent shot, but I can do better. So now I'm going to try it with bottom right. And I know I don't want to put too much right on it because it'll go where it just did. So I'm going to put a tip of bottom right. Still going too far forward. I ran into the 7. Don't want to run into the 7. So how do I adjust for that? Well, so I need for it to come straight across is what I want it to do. With a tip of bottom right at 4:30, it hit the 7. So now I'm going to take it to 5 o'clock, and I'm going to go extremely low on the cue ball. Okay, that is kind of what I want. I want the cue ball to go between the 5 and the 7. I hit it a little bit hard. I had that long straight shot again. It's not what I want, but that's a speed thing. So now I know my English. My English is going to be bottom right at 5:30. I'm going to execute it again and make sure that I'm right. That's the shot. That's the shot I'm looking for. It gives me an angle to go up and down the table on the 6. So now I know my English. Now I know what's going on. So it's time to write it all down. So I'm going to grab my notebook. I'm going to make some notes on the shot. I'm going to write in some things that I observed along the way up by the shot. And I'll show you what this looks like in a second. Making sure that I capture anything that I learned. Very important that you capture what you learn. Now I'm going to write in the book the right shot, and I'm going to do it in a different color pen so that I can tell what it's supposed to look like. So I'm writing it in. I'm putting where my English is going to be. I'm going to draw in the path of the cue ball. And here's what that looks like. So you can see there the red is the right English with the right shot. And now I'm going to shoot it and get it down. And I'm not going to shoot till I make it. Okay, so I missed the shot. That's okay. I'll just keep doing this. And the idea is you don't do this until you make it. You do it until you can't miss it. That's the purpose of this. So when I'm doing my practices, now on a full practice, I will shoot this until I make it 10 times in a row with the leave. So there it is, executed exactly right, bounce off the rail just enough that I'm not hampered by it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Just keep pounding this in and pounding it in and doing the same shot over and over and over. I'm going to speed this up so that you're not bored sitting there watching me shoot this. Okay, bad shot. And now we just keep running this shot. All right, so I'm pretty comfortable with the shot now. Now, I did not shoot it 10 times in a row. I gave myself a break. So this is breaking practice. I take forever to warm up. You've seen that. So what I'm doing here is I'm breaking and shooting from position. The important thing is I'm loosening my arm up. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to overhit everything. I don't care whether I make it or not. I just want to loosen my muscles up. Of course, I'm going to try to make it, but if I don't, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. The main purpose of this is to loosen my arm up. And I'll do, I don't know, half dozen racks or so like this just to loosen my break up. Now I'm feeling pretty loose, so I'm going to go ahead and play the ghost. So here we go, race to 5 against the ghost. Starts off with a great break. I make 4 balls on the break. So normal day, this should be an easy out. Put the 1 in the right side. Follow off the rail for the 5. Get an angle to come up forward for the 6. Uh, if the 7 goes, I don't remember if it does or not. If it goes, then you can just bounce off the rail for the 7 and draw back for the 9 or punch across the table for the 9. This should be simple. But again, I'm going to misjudge the rail. Well, actually, I just misjudged the angle. I didn't misjudge the rail. So now bottom right, or bottom left, and a lot of thin cut here. And I just miss it badly. Ghost is up, 1-0. Okay, next rack. Break looks a little better. I stopped the cue in the center of the table. Real game, I'd be playing safe here, rolling the cue behind the 6 or behind the 4. Um, ball in hand. So I've got this wide alley in between the 5 and the 8 to get down the table for the 2. So I'm I'm going to just go forward off the rail and go in that alley, and I'm going to try to get, yeah, I want to get kind of straight on it, so I'm going to put a little bit of English. Rail grabs more than I wanted it to, and I'm now hooked. So jump shot, um, grab the jump cue. I'm just going to tell you now, I overhit the hell out of this. Just muscle memory has fallen apart with me not playing. I overhit it, 2 goes off the table. Next rack, the ghost is up 2-0 on me. Okay, killed the cue ball, dead. It got bumped out, but it killed it dead, which is what I want. Um, so going to take my ball in hand. So I'm going to take that 7 out right now. And I'm going to put the cue over by the rail so I can follow and have the 1 hit the 7 as full as I can so that it stops in front of the pocket and the cue ball rolls into a nice angle for the 2. Now I hit it fuller than I wanted and ended up with the double kiss to make the 7. It happens. All right, a little bit of bottom left. I want to. I've got a problem here. So that 3 is a big ball. It's in the way. So instead of bottom left, I'm going to go top right and try to go around the table and out. Again, speed kind of gets me. The 2 is barely makeable past the 4. That's just me. That's my eyes. Double vision kicks in and causes me a problem. Happens. On to the next rack. Ghost is up 3-0. Okay, decent break. Didn't make anything. Still a dry break. Now, you've seen that I've been having speed problems, so rather than do this the right way, so the right way to do this is to put the cue down even with the 1 ball and roll forward off the right long rail and bounce out for the 2. But because I've been having touch problems, I'm going to play this with a little bit of a touch shot. I'm going to play a stun, and I want to come up about 3 or 4 inches. That's just about perfect. So now I've got this big alley again between the 6 and the 7. You'll see that alley show up a lot. I'm going to roll over and I'm going to try to get close to the rail. So I've got a problem here. The 4 does not pass the 8. I go look at it and I'm like, oh, oops, I should have looked at that. So this is a really interesting shot. Um, I'm going to use inside English on this. So I'm going to use a little bit of bottom and a whole lot of left-hand English. Because remember, when it comes shallow into that first rail, it's not going to grab. But when it hits the second rail, it is going to grab. So this is kind of a reverse the second rail shot. This is a really cool shot. It's one that's worth learning if you don't know it. A little bit of bottom inside English. Watch what the cue ball does off the second rail. You see that? It just, instead of spinning down the table, it dies and comes straight across. I did hit it a little further than I wanted, so now I'm jacked up on the rail. I took that for granted. I missed it, but look how easily I came down for that 5 ball. That is definitely a shot worth learning. So it's now 4-0 Ghost winning. All right, it's 4-0. The Ghost is getting ready to whitewash me. This is bad, but again, I had no expectations coming into this. But I'd really like to get a win here. Another dry break. The 4 ball's a problem. 4 ball's got no pocket. I'm going to have to either bank it cross side or I'm going to have to break it out. My preference is to break it out. And remember, when you have a problem ball, you want to address it as soon as possible. So I'm going to set this up with an angle to allow me to stun down and hopefully bounce the 4 off the rail. If I do it successfully, I'm going to have a shot on the 2 because the cue ball is going to stay in that general area. And that gives me an opportunity to get out here. It actually becomes a fairly easy out. If I bump the 4 off the rail, I can shoot the 2, go shoot the 3 in the right hand side, roll forward for the 4, bounce off for the 5. Misjudged the angle again. So now I'm in trouble. So I've got to do something off this 2 to get a leave on the 3. And I just miss. God, I missed that so badly. Kind of rushed it. And there you have it.